Alright. So I'm in my truck at my workplace. Nobody's here. They tell me to be here at 7. It's 7:10. Nobody's here to open up. And they don't give me a key. And I worked here for 9 years. But anyways, so now that you know what vehicles to get for off-roading pretty cheap, I'm gonna tell you where I would focus more on putting parts to and upgrading it, because it's going to help you in the long run, in my opinion. And you can disagree if you want to, or you could try it for yourself if you want to. But this is where I would save my money and put towards upgrading your 4x4. So the first one is a lift kit, and I would go with a 4-inch lift, because I don't think you need something very tall if you're gonna daily drive it, like my Ranger. Usually in the summertime I do. But 4-inch lift, you can fit 33s, you can fit 35s. You may have to do a little bit of trimming, but if you have a Jeep, you're not going to be trimming a whole lot. On my Ranger, I already figured that I'd probably be trimming quite a bit out. But so if you want to go 35s, you may want to go with a 6-inch lift if you don't want to cut any body panels. But a 4-inch lift and 33s, I think you're going to be just fine with. And if you want to be brave enough, you can stuff 35s if you want to. And that leaves us to tires. Tires, I would get like a mud terrain, or maybe an all-terrain, depending on what you want. Mud terrains, I have always ran. On this truck, I have all terrains, I think. But mud terrains, I've never had a problem with. The only thing I had a problem with is their cupping in the front, because they're so knobby. But you can always not have them cup, and that would just mean not changing, like rotating them every 5,000 miles. I would do it like every 3,000 miles. You could do every 2, but I think that's just gonna be pointless at that point. Because you're gonna I don't know how much you guys drive, so I feel like you'd be changing them quite often, and nobody wants to do that. So I would go like every 3,000, and rotate them out with mud terrains if you're driving them on the street. If you're not, then don't worry about it. But yeah, 33-inch tire, I think you're going to be okay with. A 35, you're going to be okay with. Get something with a good sidewall, because you don't want to go out on the trail and like have it like blow out by like running over a stick or something. So there's like, you can get like ply 3, I think, is like the strongest. I don't know if there's any more than that. But ply 3 is good. You could go with a ply 2, but a ply 3 is probably going to be your best option, because I have a ply 3 and I've never had anything like poke into the sidewall. So you want something with a good sidewall, pretty much. In 33s, I think you're going to be okay. You may have a ground clearance issue after you air down, because I know I do sometimes, but usually I don't air down too much. So But if you want more ground clearance, 35s, but then by the time you air down or whatever, you're probably going to be the same size as a 33. So, that's what I would stick my money towards. And then, I would also put my money towards, a front locker. I wouldn't get a rear locker. I don't have a rear locker in my Ranger, and I'm open on my Jeep. And in some cases, I feel like in the Jeep I need lockers, but some cases I feel like I don't. And I don't really wheel that thing much or very hard. The Ranger I do wheel way harder because of the suspension setup that I have. But yeah, I think a front locker is going to help you a whole lot more because it's going to pull you up those obstacles where you want to be. You don't want to be pushing, because if it's pushing and the front wheels aren't pulling, you're just gonna move sideways. So a lot of people say rear locker. I have talked to like one or two people, and they said that they did a front locker because they did a rear locker, and then they said that they found out that they don't even use the rear locker as much because the front locker just pulls you right up everything. So that's what I would do. There's different multiple lockers that you can get. We can go over those another time. But that's where I would stick my money towards. And then you don't have to unless you have a problem. And I know that like YJs have this problem. The steering knuckles on the steering don't hold up very well. So you can bump up to a 1-ton steering, or I have a Heim steering, I think it's called, on my Ranger, so you can bump up to that. It's basically a solid tube with threads on either sides, and you can bump up to that if you want to, because you want something strong and that's going to hold up. So that's what I did. But yeah, those are like, what did I just name, like 4? Those are like the top 4 that I would save my money and put towards upgrading. Because like, I guess you can upgrade the axle shafts to chrome mollies or whatever. I guess that would be another upgrade that you could do. Because I don't know, I have stock axle shafts in my YJ, and I have yet to break them. I guess I know that I think the U-joint broke on one of them, but other than that, I think that you can get away with just mostly stock stuff. And then obviously once you wheel it some more and you already do those upgrades, or maybe you haven't done those upgrades, I would put your money to fix where it needs to be fixed so you can keep wheeling it. That's what I gotta say. But if you want any aftermarket parts to help you go off-roading, those are the ones that I would totally pick from, because those are going to help you way in the long run compared to other ridiculous, and they're pretty reasonable, and you're not going to be breaking the bank on them. So yeah, you'll probably see these guys with like 37s, 38s, 40s, maybe not 38s. I think I've only met like a few people with 38s, a couple 42 people, but I think commonly it's going to be like a 37 or a 40, and you don't need to go that big of a tire to have fun. And you don't need to build a buggy. You can just buy something like I showed you in the other video and put like just little modifications here and there. You don't have to go all out, because that's not spending money right. But anyways, so if this helped you and you liked it, I will see you in the next one. And if you have any questions, please comment down below. If there's a video that you would want me to make about more, if you want to know more about lockers, if you want to know more about tires, if you want to know more about lift kits, I will make another video about those. And probably might have to do a little bit of research because I haven't bought anything in a long time. So I will see you all in the next one. Bye.